everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the March 21st, 2020 Vinyl Treasure Show. Was kind of like a nice day today, but with all this virus stuff, coronavirus stuff, it's kind of depressing to see all these things. So you got to sit back for the next 2 hours, get away from all that virus talk. I got original vinyl 45s out of my collection. I know a lot of the shows are not doing their live shows. They're on tape, but we're live here. I'm broadcasting out of my attic, as I do every Saturday. Only original vinyl 45s. Tonight we got 50s and early 60s. Opened up with a not-so-easy-to-find instrumental on a Dootsy Williams Duto record label by the Phil Goodman Trio. It was called Phil's Boogie, written by Phil Goodman. And I guess he was playing piano on that, but a pretty cool boogie-woogie tune from October 57. The Duto label, of course, I collect that with other of thousands and thousands of labels, but that one there, a cool one, and recently got that one. Thank you, Warren. Phil Goodman Trio, Duto Records, Phil's Boogie is the name of that one. So without further ado, let's open up the vocal portion here. And last week, I featured a group out of Harlem, New York. I played their second single on Danny Robinson's Holiday label, as requested by a North Carolina listener, Jim Barrow. He requested When I Woke Up This Morning. How about we give a listen to their third and final release on the Holiday label, which is their hardest, by the way, for you collectors out there. So from late 1957, let's give a listen to the Bop Chords on the Holiday label, Ernest Harrison on lead, and their tune called So Why.
Boom, boom, boom. So why do you make me cry? You know the reason why I'm still in love with you. So please don't break my heart in two. I belong to you. I really love you so.
We open up the vocal portion there with the Bop Chords. The Bop Chords, late 1957. That is their third and final release on Danny Robinson's Holiday record label. So Why is the name of that one. That really is their hardest one to find, especially if you find it in nice condition. It is. Mine's pretty nice, I have to say. Has a little bit of crackle there, a little bit of, it's like a a very grainy press for you collectors out there. The flip is a great flip too, a song entitled Baby. And that one did not make it onto the Rumble album, unfortunately, but let's continue here. Have lots and lots of flip sides from last week's show. Now, a listener down in Naples, Florida, Nat Papagallo, he requested the Mighty Jupiters on Bob Shad's Warner label. Last week, I featured the side called Your Love, but that was the intended B-side of the 45. Let's give a listen to the A-side. It features Dolores Butler on lead from February 1958, the Mighty Jupiters. I love to say that name. On the Warner label, it's called Hi Walkie Tumba.
Hi Walkie Tumba, little Tumba. Hi Walkie Tumba, little Tumba. Hi Walkie Tumba, little Tumba. Hi Walkie Tumba, little Tumba.
Love came to me when I first met you. I know that this is the real thing. Oh, you know, I love you so. Oh, you know, I'll never let you go. Oh, I had no love till I first met you. Now that you've gone, I feel blue.
Those are the Mighty Jupiters. The Mighty Jupiters from February 1958. Dolores Butler, she's on lead. Dolores Butler with the Mighty Jupiters, Hi Walkie Tumba. That is the A-side of the 45. And we're going to send that one out to Brian Korn. I know he likes that record. Never should have got rid of it, Brian, as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I played a request for Nat by the Little Eddie Hurt and the $5 on the Fortune label, their rendition of the tune I Will Wait. That was from 1956. Now, how about we give a listen to the original version of that song? Now, initially it came out in December of 1950 on a 78, but then later Savoy Records reissued it on a 45. Now, the group formed while they were students at Frederick Douglass High School in Baltimore, Maryland, and it features Larry Harrison on lead, and this was a big number 2 R&B hit for them. It's their first of 6 for the Four Buddies. This is the original version of the tune from December 1950 on Savoy Records. The tune is called I Will Wait.
I will wait till eternity. I will wait, oh so patiently. I will wait, darling, please wait for me. Well, it sounds so strange to hear somebody call your name, but I know you are not to blame. Won't you please wait for me? for love, no one but you. Oh, I'll stay true till I hear from you. I will wait, oh, so patiently I will wait. Darling, please wait for me. And darling, please wait for me.
Yeah, those are the Four Buddies. The Four Buddies from December 1950. Larry Harrison on lead for that one. That is their first release on the Savoy label, I Will Wait. What does it say? North Dakota Bob says that Cab Calloway, what did he say? Where'd it go? Cab Calloway went to that school? Yeah, Cab Calloway went to their high school too. Interesting. Out of Baltimore, Maryland, the Four Buddies there. Now, this was their first of 8 releases on the Savoy label. Now, prior to this, they backed up Little Esther as the Belltones on Savoy, May 1950. I have that record. I have that 78. It's called Little Cupid on one side. I forget what the flip is, but I do have it. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We spin 1950s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. We do it chronologically. I play my 50s and early 60s records chronologically. So if you like the early sides, you want to tune in the early part of the show. If you like the later 50s or early 60s, you tune in toward the end of the program. Did I say that right? But anyway, let's continue here. And last week I played the very first 45 to come out on Jerry Blaine's Josie label and was requested by the Colonel. It was by a group called the Starlings, a group from the Bronx, New York. Now, the song was called My Plea for Love, and it featured Larry Gales on lead. He's also doing lead on the flip side, which is a song that dates back to May of 1938 when it was first done by Gene Austin. So let's move up 16 years to 1954, April of 54. Give a listen to the Starlings with a B-side on the Josie label. Their rendition of the tune Music Maestro Please.
I mustn't think of her. Music, maestro, please. Tonight I must forget how much I need her. So, Mr. Leader, play your lilting melodies. Ragtime, jazz time, swing. Any old thing to help me ease the pain that solitude can bring. She used to like waltzes, so please don't play or walk. Yes, she danced so divinely, and I love her so. But there I go tonight. I mustn't think of her. No more memories. Swing out tonight. I must forget. Music, maestro, please. Well now, she used to like waltzes, so please don't play or walk. Well, she
April 1954 release there for the Starlings. The Starlings on the Josie label. Their rendition of the tune, Music Maestro, Please. That's the B-side to My Plea for Love. And that is a great tune there. That one there, that group, the Starlings, they would later record as the Twilighters on the MGM record. I have a Twilighters 45 coming up later in the show. Let's continue here. We move into 1955 now with a group out of Los Angeles, California that recorded as and evolved from the Lamplighters. They were also related to the Ebb Tides, the Four After Fives, the Rebels, the Rivingtons, and the Twisters. This group was called the Tenderfoots, and here is their final release, I think their fourth and final release on Sid Nathan's Federal label, which this song is a cover. It was first recorded by a group called the Squires on the Mambo label in April of 1955. Let's move to June of 55. I think Carl White is on lead here, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong. If anybody knows, please type it in any of the two chat rooms there, either the YouTube chat room, where I have a bunch of people, and also the Top Shelf Oldies chat room. But let's go back to June of 1955. Give a listen to the Tenderfoots on the Federal label and their rendition of the song Cindy.
Up above, I know Cindy will always be the girl for me. The girl for me. I have a feeling of love. Cindy is a girl that I'm thinking of. Always be the girl for me. The girl for me.
Her lips are so tender, her eyes so revealing. My, how she can thrill. I love only you, so won't you be true?
And make this dream seem real. I love Cindy. Give me a chance to make a go of our romance. I'm telling you, Cindy, no other girl will do.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyltreasure Show. That group called the Tenderfoots. Tenderfoots from June 1955. They're doing the Squires tune, Cindy. This is spelled with an S. You know, I don't think this one comes with a C. I think the other one, the Squires, come with an S and a C. I don't think this one did on the Federal label, Sid Nathan's Federal record label. The Cobras also do a version from August of 55, and this was the last release by as the Tenderfoots on the Federal label. Johnny G babbling on here. Hope you're digging on the tunes here. We are in the year 1955. Now, after Monty Bruce. After Monty Bruce's Bruce label went bad, maybe it went bankrupt or so, Leo Rogers acquired the company and kept all the acts except one. He kept one act. It was the Harp Tones, and he brought them to High Weiss's He was the owner of Old Town Records, and Weiss initially, because of the harp tones, started up the Paradise record label, and it said he was going to put out the harp tones records on Paradise. Of course, their first record was the classic Life Is But a Dream, but I'm spinning the follow-up, written by Raul Sita, and features Willie Winfield on lead. And this was a big number 3 record on WILY out of Pittsburgh, PA. Let's go back to November of 1955. These are the harp tones on Paradise, featuring the first press here. It's called My Success, parentheses, It All Depends on You. I need to clean this.
Success, my scheme, and my dream, oh my darling, it all depends on you. To be happy, to be sad, to be good, to be bad, those are the questions. All the answers depends on you. I keep wondering every day, just when you come my way. I tell myself most every night, you'll come home soon and make things right. No greater love have I to give. If you don't return, don't want to live my life, my love. It all depends on you. My life, my love, it all depends on you. My life, my love.
Yeah, those are the harp tones. Actually, that is not a scratch. You know what that is? A couple of the records I needed to clean. Let me just look at that. This is a mint record. It probably needs to be cleaned. I have them dust on that. I did not have enough time with all the virus stuff going on and me trying to go out and get food and working from home all week. It's just been crazy all week. I've been actually working longer hours working at home. Anyway, those are the great harp tones there. The harp tones from November 1955 on the Paradise record label. My Success, parentheses, It All Depends on You. Great Willie Winfield on lead for that one. That's the second of 2 on the Paradise label. Now, the second press is, if yours says It All Depends on You, that is the second press, but My Success is the first press. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. And here's another flip side from last week by this group from Brooklyn, New York. They're called the Cordells with a CH, the Cordells. It's on Jerry Winston's Onyx label. It's their only release. Last week I played the B-side, the intended B-side. It was The Jump. It was called Here's a Heart for You. Now the A-side is a slower side. It was co-written by the lead singer. His name is Robert Walker. Let's go to October 1956 now. On the Onyx label, the Cordells with their tune. It's called I Started Out.
I started out looking
for a girl to love, and now that I have found her, I love her so. I love her, and she's here in my arms. Never will I let her go, because I love her so. I was walking around in a day waiting for to come my way, and now that I have found her, oh, I'm starting out, looking for a girl to love, and now that I have found her, I'm glad I started. Started out looking for a girl to love, and now that I have found her, I'm glad I started.
Those are the Cordells on Jerry Winston's Onyx record label. I Started Out is the name of that one, October 1956, with Sammy Lowe in the orchestra. He was the house band for the Onyx record label. I think his name is on, if not all the releases. I think I'm missing maybe one release. You got that one by the Dales. It's like some kind of West Jamaican type sound. But anyway, those are the Cordells as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, earlier we heard from a group called the Starlings on the Josie label. I featured Music Maestro Please. Now, they had two more releases on the Dawn label as the Starlings. Then they changed their name to the Twilighters when they signed with MGM Records. Now, their first on MGM was a classic called Little Did I Dream, which I featured actually a couple months ago. That had Larry Gales on lead. Now, the Colonel requested their second release, which features Bill Lindsay on lead. Let's go to February 1956, going out to the Colonel, the Twilighters on the MGM label. It's called Half Angel.
You're only half angel, 'cause there's a devil in your heart. You've been unfaithful from the start. Why must you do what you do? You're just half angel. You're all I'm ever dreaming of. The only one I'll ever love. Why must you be so untrue? You know I wonder, my love, where you wander. alone in my lonely room. Oh, half angel, I miss you so when we're apart. Though you're a devil in your heart, half angel, I love you. Why? I miss you so when we're apart. Though you're a devil in your heart, half angel, I love you.
As by request, going out to the Colonel there, the Twilighters, February 1956. That's their second release on the MGM record label. Half Angel is the name of that one. That featured Bill Lindsay on lead. Now, Bill would later join Dean Barlow and the Bachelors, Dean Barlow and the Montereys. I think he was in a couple other groups too later on. But a cool record. I like that tune as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, on last week's show, I played a request for Richard Fox. He requested the Revels out of Philadelphia. Their second overall release came out on the Teen label. I featured the side called So in Love. Now, let's give a spin. Actually, I think it was Daryl Letts who has joined us now in the YouTube chat room. He asked if I could spin the B-side before it goes back down in the No Humidity Baby. So we're going to do that right now. It features Butch Ballard and his orchestra, and it's conducted by Gene Kutch, whoever that is. We're going out to Daryl here, October 1956, the Revels on the Teen label. It's called It Happened to Me.
There's something that I must tell you about your friends and what they will do. They'll pat you on the back and say you are nice, then try to steal your love. It happened to me twice. I had a friend whose name was Harry. He knew the Jane and I wanted to marry. What he said to me I can't repeat to you. It broke my heart right in two. Be sure of what you believe when your friend says she's not true. They're only trying to keep you feeling blue, 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 blue. Take a fool's advice, let nothing come between your arms, lips, your self-made dream. They'll pat you on the back and say you are nice and try to steal your love. It happened to me twice. On the back to say you were nice, they'll try to steal your love. It happened to me twice. I had a friend whose name was Harry. He knew the Jane and I wanted to marry. What he said to me I can't repeat to you. It broke my heart right in two. Be sure what you believe when your friend says she's not true. They're only trying to keep you feeling blue, 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 blue. Who's a nice, let nothing come between your arms, lips, your self-made dreams. They'll pat you on the back and say you are nice and try to steal your love. It happened to me twice.
Yeah, the B-sides here On the Vinyltreasure show, they're called the Revels. The Revels from October 1956. It's on the Teen label. It Happened to Me is the name of that one. Next Saturday, by the way, a program note, it's the last Saturday of the month. That means it's my all 1960s show. So the doo-wops and group harmony sound will return in 2 weeks after that. I'm working home through April 10th, so it's going to be kind of weird doing all my tax stuff from home. But anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure show. Here's another request I played last week was for Warren Russell. Warren wanted to hear Billy Robbins on Johnny Otis's Dig label out of Los Angeles, California. I featured the side called Bring Her Back. It was a cool R&B tune. Now the flip is a ballad, and there is an uncredited vocal group on the backing him up on this. I don't know who they are. Studio group, maybe the J.O.'s. It could be anybody back then. You know, Johnny Otis and the orchestra had all these people in the background there. Could have been anybody, but it's still, I like this side too. If anybody has any info, please email me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. But it's with Johnny Otis and his orchestra. This one from December 56. Give a listen to Billy Robbins. Billy Robbins on the Dig label. It's called Baby, Please Come Home.
You know I love you, baby. I love you so. Never leave you, little baby. I'll never let you go. You know I need you, baby. Oh, baby, 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 please come on. Oh. Well, we're gonna have a little talk the way we did before. This little talk, baby, will last forevermore. You know I need you, baby. Baby, baby, please come on. Oh. Well, you say you didn't understand me. You know I don't understand you too. You know every time we get together, baby, you know just what love can do. You know I need you, baby. Baby, baby, please, please come on. Oh.
That's December 1956 as I get caught here. Billy Robbins on the Dig label. Baby, Please Come Home is the name of that one. Got to say hi. I got some listeners I normally don't see. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. There, I have to say hi to Seppo. Hi, Seppo. I think you're in Finland, if I'm not mistaken. I also have East End Mark listening over in the UK. Any other international listeners? Please come into the either Top Shelf Oldies chat room or the YouTube chat room. Hope you tuned in here to the Vinyltreasure show. We want to get away from all the virus stuff, the coronavirus stuff. And we want to get back to a normalcy here. And listening to music, that is the best normalcy for Johnny G. And hopefully you, the Top Shelf Oldies and YouTube listeners. Let's continue here. Let's stay out in California with a request for George Tompkins. He requested the Flares. And previous to this recording, the group actually was led by Cornell Gunther. But they recorded with Buck Ram's Antler label. Now, Buck sold 4 masters to ABC Paramount Records, hence there were 2 releases on the ABC Paramount label. Now, George requested their second. Again, this tune penned by Buck Ram. It features Cornell Gunter on lead. Going out to George. October 1956, The Flares on ABC Paramount. It's called Aladdin's Lamp.
I tell you that I pretend whenever I'm blue, then I hold Aladdin's lamp and my dreams come true. It's easy to comprehend this world that I've known, a world that I'm free to choose when I'm all alone. Oh, take me there quickly, and I can forget the troubles of living when life is regret. Yes, I hold Aladdin's lamp whenever I'm blue, for you are Aladdin's lamp, making dreams come true. Oh, take me there quickly, and I can't forget the troubles of living when life is regret. Yes, I hold Aladdin's lamp whenever I'm blue, for you are Aladdin's lamp, making dreams come true.
Yes, Daryl, I have to say there is a little bit of Platter's flavor in that, a little bit more of a popular sound there for the Flares, but that's by request for George Tompkins, October 1956. The Flares with Cornell Gunter on lead on the ABC Paramount record label. That is their second release called Aladdin's Lamp. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, I want to welcome all you tuning in to the Vinyl Treasure Show. As we continue here, we move into the year 1957. Now, on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for The Colonel by the Cyclones. The Cyclones, a.k.a. they were Richard Berry's group, the Pharaohs, and included Richard Berry with the song called My Dear, which was the nice ballad, and Godoy Colbert was on lead on that side. Let's give a listen to the flip side before we file it back down in the No Humidity basement. This is the up-tempo side from June of 57. It's on the Flip label. These are the Cyclones, and the song is called Do You Love Me?
Way you thrill me, ooh.
A group called the Cyclones. The Cyclones there from June 1957. It's on the Flip label out of California, the same label as 60's. What I think A Casual Look was, I think, the biggest record on the Flip label. Do You Love Me is the name of that one. As we move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we continue with more Flip sides. I played a request for Richard Fox last week by the Moonglows, their 9th release on Leonard Chess's Chess label, their version of the song I'm Afraid the Masquerade Is Over, which featured the bass man of the group on lead, that be Prentice Barnes. So let's flip the 45 over. It's a nice ballad. It features Bobby Lester on lead, and it's not the typical sound that you get from the Moonglows, but I do like it. It's a very nice song here. This one from February 57. These are the Moonglows on the Chess label, the Flip side of I'm Afraid the Masquerade Is Over. It's called Don't Say Goodbye.
Don't say goodbye. Don't even try. For you are my love, the only love I'm dreaming of. Don't say goodbye. You make me cry. For you are my thrill, the only thrill. I'll tell you why. I'll miss a kiss such as this in the middle of the night. Oh, don't you know that your touch means so much when you're holding me tight. Don't say goodbye. I told you why. Can't you see you're meant for me? Don't say goodbye. Never say goodbye.
Yeah, when was the last time you heard that tune by the Moonglows? That's Bobby Lester on lead there with the Moonglows, February 1957. A nice ballad there, Don't Say Goodbye, on the Chess label. Johnny G won't say goodbye. Not till midnight, but you know we're going to do overtime, so those of you that can stay up that late, I'd like to do a show in the middle of the day, but I can't. I work from 8 to about 8 to 6, so I really can't. Dave the Rave wanted me to do a show, was it Thursday? No, Friday night, I think. Thursday or Friday night, or was it Wednesday night? He said, Johnny G, go on and just play some records. So I might do that if I can, but I wasn't feeling so well. I had to take that... it's not Claritin. It was something else that starts with a Z. It really helped my allergy. I thought I had the virus. I did. I had a cough, and I never had a fever. Never ever had a fever, but I didn't feel well before. It's the allergies. Anyway, hopefully I sound okay to you guys. Let's continue here. Enough of my babbling. I got a request for Bopper Boy Warren. He is in our YouTube chat room. He's also in the Top Shelf Oldies chat room. It's on Don Roby's Duke label out of Houston, Texas. But I have no info on this group, so I don't know if you do, Warren, because I couldn't find any. But I like this tune. The group is called John Littleton and the Capistranos, and the John Littleton, he wrote this tune. It's with the Alex Sample Orchestra from November 57, going out to Bopper Boy Warren, little John Littleton and the Capistranos on Duke. It's called Now Darling.
Now, darling, you know I want you, and I'm really in love with you. But you've gone and left me, baby. Tell me, what am I going to do? Now, nighttime is the right time for you and I to make some love. But you've gone and left me, baby, and I have no lovey dove. Well, you're the reason for the way I'm feeling. You're the reason for my misery. You're the reason for so much sorrow. Now, darling, what am I going to do? Oh, darling, you know it's true that I'm really in love with you. But you've gone and left me, baby. Tell me, what am I going to do? But you've gone and left me, baby. Tell me, what am I going to do? Tell me, what am I going to do?
Yeah, that's a cool tune. Thanks for requesting that one, Warren. Haven't heard that in a long time. John Littleton and the Capistranos, November 1957, on the Duke label out of Houston, Texas. Song entitled Now Darling. Yes, it's Zytec. That's what I take. It's better than the other antihistamines because it's not supposed to make you as drowsy, although I did take one of the pills last night before I went to bed, and I don't know, it was about 2 a.m. I fell asleep. I didn't wake up till about 10:45, but I was a little bit tired, so I'm going to take half of that tonight, but it'll help with my allergies. Johnny G here first. Dr. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Now, the next 245s I'm playing are flip sides from last week's show, and they involve girls' names, a very common theme for songs in the 1950s and early 60s. And last week I played a request for Young Evan Blatt by a group from Queens, New York. They were called the Premiers. Now, I played the rare version of the correct song on the Gone label. It was called Is It a Dream? The flip was written by group member Tennis Tin, and maybe he's on lead because I can't find any information about this group except they're from Queens. But I like this side too. I do. It's from July of 57. Give a listen to the Premiers on the Gone label. Our first of two girl names. This one's called Valerie. Ooh.
Valerie, you're the symbol of love to me. You're my idea of what every girl should be. I'm crazy with love for you. My darling, can't you see? Can't you hear my most humble plea? Begging you to please hold me, for I'm crazy with love for you. I see you're always at the parties, given round town. Seeing you with someone else really gets me down. My heart is sad, my head is bad. I walk alone, just wishing, hoping, wanting you to be my very my Valerie. Won't you please end my misery? Be mine or set my heart free. I have nothing but love
That's from July. Ooh, July night. I have a better copy of that, the easier one, although it's expensive too. But anyway, that's July 1957. The premieres on the Gone record label, a song entitled Valerie. You also could have Valerie with the wrong song on the flip side, that Deltas tune on the flip side, which is much easier than that copy. I said I had a twin spin. I had a twin spin on the girls' names, and it was another request last week that I featured for Nat Papagallo. He requested the second of 7 on the Hull label by that Inglewood, New Jersey group known as the Avons. The side I played was called Baby. The flip is another girl's name. It was written by the lead singer. His name is Bob Lee. Maybe this was his girlfriend, who knows? But March 1957, these are the Avons on the Hull label, and their tune called Bonnie.
Bonnie, oh Bonnie, Papa Papa 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 Bonnie.
Bonnie dear, I feel so bad since you left me, dear, my dear. I love and I need you. Oh, I want you to be near. I miss you, can't resist you, Bonnie. I love you so. I remember sweet moments we share. Please don't say we're through, my dear. We should always be together, Bonnie. I love you so. You know I didn't mean it. To be untrue, but I'll change my ways for you.
Bonnie,
I love you, I need you, I really miss you. So please come back to me, Bonnie. I love you so.
Bonnie, 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 Zakata, Bonnie, 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 Zakata, Bonnie, 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 Zakata, Bonnie. I love you so. Bonnie, 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 Zakata, Bonnie, 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 Zakata, Bonnie.
I'll change my ways for you.
Bonnie, Bonnie, Bonnie,
Oh, 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 I love you, I need you, I really miss you. So please come back to me, Bonnie, I love you so.
That was a twin spin on girls' names. We heard Valerie. We just heard Bonnie there. The Avons, March 1957 release on B. Castlin's Hull record label. A song entitled Bonnie. That's their second of 7 on the Hull label. I actually need another copy of that. That side does play a lot better than the baby side. Anyways, we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. I wanted to take a snapshot of this record. I never have time. If you notice that I post pictures on my Facebook wall of my 45s, that means I finished the show ahead of time. But tonight, it was nuts. I got to thank Charlene for putting up with all my nonsense, and she's a big part of the show. She always helps me with the research here. So thank you so much, Charlene, as we continue now. But I wanted to get this up there. It's a rare girl group sound. It involves band leader Al Brown, who I think he was part owner of this label. It's the Apache label, and it's with Al Brown and his orchestra. He's backing these gals up. They're called the Sweet Marquise, and I'm guessing they're out of Brooklyn, New York, but it is a rare 45 here from December 1957. Give a listen to the Sweet Marquise on Apache Records. It's called You Lied. Those are the Sweet Marquise. That's a rare 45, I got to tell you, folks. It was not a cheapie for your host, Johnny G. December 1957, the Sweet Marquise on the Apache label out of Brooklyn, New York, with a song entitled You Lied. Johnny G never lies. I only play original vinyl out of my collection every Saturday night from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies and live on YouTube. Got to say hi to the big crowd in the YouTube chat room. Now, let's continue here. Now, I was saddened to hear of the passing of country western singer, they said, country western singer Kenny Rogers. Now, it's true the majority of his success was in country music, but believe it or not, at age 17, he was a member of a vocal group in his hometown of Houston, Texas. They were called the Scholars, and they were formed by Kenny and his high school friends. They attended Jefferson Davis High School. Now, they were managed by his brother Leland, and they had 2 releases on the Q label. I really didn't know this until today, which, by the way, I either have one of the releases or both of them. I know I do. It's like it's either a purple or blue Q label. But I have others by the Scholars, I think on Dot and Imperial, they also came out. But it was early 1958 where he debuted with his first solo release, and supposedly this release came out on a label called Lynn out of Houston, Texas. That's what somebody wrote. I don't know. I've never seen a copy of it, but I figure it's possible that a lot of people don't know that local release, but it was taking off in Houston, and Carlton Records, got in the act and picked it up. Actually, he had 2 releases on the Carlton label. His first is a little bit more common than his second. I was trying to find his second, but I could not. But I'm going to play the B-side of his first, and the true first presses of this, it should read Kenneth Rogers, because there are presses that say Kenny Rogers, was supposedly our second. I don't know, but the A-side is called That Crazy Feeling, which is a pretty nice teen song with a group in the background. But let's give a spin to the B-side. Both sides written by Ray Doggett, as we pay tribute to the late Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers passed away today at the age of 81. This is the B-side to his debut single from February 58 on Carlton. It's called We'll Always Have Each Other.
Well, I may never get to buy you a diamond ring, and baby, lots of fancy things. But what we've got is worth much more than gold, because we've got our love to have and to hold. We'll always have each other. Yes, we'll always have each other. Now we may never ride out in a limousine and have the kind of riches that are seen. But what we've got way down here in our hearts, the kind of riches, honey, that hands don't tear apart. We'll always have each other. Yes, we'll always have each other. So they say, may sometimes die and even fade away. But that's not so, little darling, don't you see? As long as I've got you and baby you got me, we'll always have each other. Yes, we'll always have each other. May sometimes die and even fade away. But that's not so, little darling, don't you see? As long as I've got you and baby you got me, we'll always have each other. Yes, we'll always have each other.
That's the late Kenneth Rogers. And send that one out to my high school friend Robert Neal, listening down in Florida. Because when he comes up here to visit at his old Terrytown base, we talk about records a lot. And I told him I had 2 of Kenny Rogers' first records, and he was asking me if I was going to play that tonight. So we'll send that one out to him. But again, we pay tribute to the late Kenneth Rogers, February 1958. And Fred says he preferred to be called Kenneth, But then Fred said that the label guy, the label owner said, no, Kenny's a better name to have. The kids will buy your records if you're Kenny versus Kenneth. But anyway, that's the B-side to his first release on the Carlton label. We'll always have each other. And yes, we will. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, got another request for the Colonel. This group is out of Baltimore, Maryland. Their first release came out on the Herald label in 1957, but the Colonel requested their second release from 1958. It came out on the Lane label. Let's give a listen to this group called the Sonnets. The Sonnets from March of 58 on the Lane label. It's called Angel of My Dreams.
Oh, angel of my dreams, won't you be mine to have and to hold, to love, love, love and enjoy. Oh, angel of my dreams, won't you please be mine? Oh, needs a girl, and girl needs a boy. You're the girl I need to love forever, evermore. Oh, angel of my dreams, won't you please be mine? Well, at nights when I go to bed and mornings when I wake, I see only you. Oh, I can't help but think of you and how much I need you. Oh, you were meant to be the angel of my dreams. You have heard my plea. Do not deny me. Oh, can you see? Oh, you are my angel, and not just the angel of my
As going out to the Colonel, that's a great sound there by the Sonnets. The Sonnets from March 1958 on the Lane label. Angel of My Dreams is the name of that one. Now, when I go through boxes, especially for my 60s show, I'll go to 45 Cat. I signed into 45 Cat, that website, so I'll look for the dates. Of course, I don't trust a lot of the dates I see on there. If I see that people document Cashbox or Billboard, I tell Charlene to take that date. I use Ferdy Gonzalez's disco file to date the majority of my 45s, but I'm kind of leery when he just lists the year in like 1958. I get a little bit leery with that, so I want to try to verify it. But I didn't know that on 45 Cat you can get emails. So during the week, I took a break from working. I came up and I was looking up one of the 60s records, and I saw emails. I said, does AOL show up on 45 Cat? And I saw a whole listing of emails dating back to 2019. And there were people asking me if I was willing to sell copies of records that I mentioned that I owned. I guess if you put that you want the record, if somebody says that they have it, they must contact you. I have no clue. But somebody asked me about this record, and there were a bunch of records that I posted that they wanted, and I said, unfortunately, I do not sell records that I only have one copy of. Maybe you can pull a funk record out of my collection from the 1970s, but any of these 50s and 60s records, no way, especially records like that. So anyway, thank you all of those of you that were asking me, and they were asking me about originals. One was about the Fairlanes. There were a couple guys that asked, one about the Shells. They were asking me about my records, and I'll help you. I have no problem helping anyone out there if they want to verify an original. So send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com if you're leery about a record. You got to be careful out there. There's some boots, and even some great boots that Mike Rascio put out, but those were legit. And I understand he took those off of 78s, by the way, a lot of those old things. But anyway, as we babble on here, let's continue here. Let's continue with more requests, this time for Jim Barrow. He is in our YouTube chat room. It's on Bob. She requested this one on Bob Shad's Warner label. And we heard from the Mighty Jupiters earlier on the Warner label. But Jim requested a group called the Big Tops. Now, I have no info on this group, but they're a vocal quartet, and it's a great record, Jim. A good one here from January 58. Going out to Jim, the Big Tops on Warner. It's called I'm in Love.
You know that I love you so much. You know that I thrill to your touch. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Oh yes, with you. You went away. You broke my heart in two. You went away. I'm all alone and blue. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Oh yes, with you. Well, darling, you know I love you so. You're my one desire. Well, please come back home. You know that I love you so much. You know that I thrill to your touch. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Oh yes, with you. So much, you know that I thrill to your touch. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Oh yes, with you. I'm in love, 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 I'm in love.
I'm telling you, that sounds like another group. I know that voice. I know that voice. I can't place it. Daryl, do you know that voice? It's another record, a New York City record. But that's the Big Tops there. January 1958 on the Warner label, going out to Jim Barrow out of North Carolina. Great record there. I'm in love with I see a band leader, Leroy Kirkland. He's a co-writer on this. I think he was part owner of the label also with Bob Shad. But that sounds, I know that voice. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. And here's a request for young Evan as we stay in the year 1958. Evan, where did you hear this record? I hope you didn't find this one in the trash, because it's not an easy record to find it by any means. Not that hard, but it's really not easy. You can find the Checker release, but he wanted to hear a group out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, this 45 came out on the Sapphire label, was then picked up by Checker Records, and for you collectors out there, if you own the Checker copy of this, it's 14 seconds shorter than the original version. So you're missing out on that Checker release, so you want to get the Sapphire release. But Evan requested the first press on Sapphire Records. So let's go back to December of 1958 for a group called the Moonbeams. It features Simon Washington on lead. It's going out to Evan, the Moonbeams on Sapphire. It's called Cryin' the Blues.
You really mean to me. You know I want it, only you. Please don't make me feel so blue. Don't leave me crying, crying the blues. Why do you do what you do? You say you'll be true. Don't leave me crying, crying the blues. Don't leave me crying,
Out of New Orleans, Louisiana there. What a cool tune there for the Moonbeams. That's going out to Evan. Evan Blatt requested that one December 1958 on the Sapphire label, Cryin' the Blues. Simon Washington on lead for that one as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. A couple shows ago, played a request for Nat Papagallo by the Belltones on Zell Sanders' J&S record label. The group was out of Yonkers, New York, which is pretty close to where Johnny G lives. I wonder how many are sick in Yonkers, New York. But anyway, Nat requested the intended B-side of this 45. It was called I Love You, which initially came out on Zell Sanders' Scat label. Then she put it out on the J&S label. I'm spinning the J&S copy. Of course, I do have both. But anyway, it's a cool dance tune. It features Ronnie Baker on lead. Let's go back to 1958 here for the Belltones on the J&S label, and they're doing a dance called the merengue.
Let me show you how to do
Shake, 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 merengue. I say, oh,
let me show you how to do
well, swing to the left, swing to the right, you rock, 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 merengue on that. Come on and jump, 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 merengue. Well, shake, 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 merengue. I say, oh,
let me show you how to do
well, rock, rock, rock to merengue. Roll, 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 merengue. Jump, 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 merengue. Come on and shake, 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 merengue. I say, oh,
let me show you how to do
shake, 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 merengue. I say, oh,
let me show you how to do
easy now, real soft, nice and low. Gonna rock it just a minute. Easy, real soft. Come on now.
let me show you how to do
Well, let's rock, merengue. Roll, 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 merengue. Jump, 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 merengue. Well, shake, 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 merengue. I say, oh,
let me show you how to do
well, rock, merengue. Roll, 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 merengue.
Whoops, as Johnny G gets caught. Anyway, those are the Belltones. The Belltones from 1958 on the JNS record label. Their tune called The Merengue. Who likes that one there? East End Mark likes that. Warren likes that tune there. You can get it cheaper on the JNS record label. And it's not that easy to find on the Scat label. I have a polished copy of that. We could talk about polished records at another time. And I don't know, Richard, if that is the same Ronnie Baker that is on the Laurie label. It could be. I don't know, but this Ronnie Baker was from Yonkers, New York. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, here's another request for Jim Barrow, listening in North Carolina. Now, he would like to hear this group from Kansas City, Missouri. They recorded 2 on Thomas Robinson's Angletone label. Now, for you collectors out there, the true first presses of this came out with Angletone in block print. I'll show it to you again, those of you in the YouTube chat room, but you could either have the promo or the dark blue stock copy. And this was a song that my aunt always wanted, but she never was to find a copy of this. She told me that every time she went to the record store, they were sold out of it. So unfortunately, she never had it. But of course, I got it years and years later, where I was able to feature it for her. And she was able to look at my original 45. But this is requested by Jim. It features Luther Rice on lead. We go back to January 1958. They're called the Chandeliers Quintet on the first press on the Angletone label. A classic. It's called Blueberry Sweets.
Boom, 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 doo doo, boom.
Blueberry sweet, you're just right for me. Your lips are so tender, why don't you surrender? You're blueberry sweet. Let these arms reach around and let these lips have their way. Close your eyes and turn to me. Blueberry sweet, you're just right for me. Your lips are so tender, why don't you surrender? Your blueberry sweet.
By request for Jim, the classic sounds of the Chandeliers Quintet. That is the first press for you collectors out there. January 1958 release on the Angletone label out of New York City. A great tune there, song entitled Blueberry Sweet. Those of you new tuning in to the YouTube live stream, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will get notifications when I go live. A lot of times I just play records at random. I'll pull out a box and I'll just kind of like flip through them. I don't even know what I have in the boxes. Pretty good on the 1950s stuff, but I have lots and lots of 1950s boxes. I don't know what's in them, so when I get requests, I go crazy looking for them. I have them marked in my Ken Clee discography book, but it's hard for me to find some of these things sometimes if I don't file them. I need little elves to help me. But I also do that for my All 60s show. Maybe this week I'll do it. I'm going to be home till April 10th, but I'll be working during the day. Maybe I can get an early start. I know a lot of you don't stay up past midnight or late, but you can always watch the show on the archive. Let's continue here. Got more requests. So we move into the year 1959 with a request for Richard Fox. He is in our YouTube chat room. He requested this one on the Urania label out of New York. It's by 19-year-old Paul Kirk, and he's backed up by a group that gets mentioned on the label. They're called the Pageants. They were out of Newark, New Jersey. So by request for Rich from August 59, it's Paul Kirk with the Pageants on the Urania label. It's called Long Ago.
Will you forgive? Will you forgive me now? Long ago, I didn't know what it meant to be deep in love. I was young and foolish too. On bended knees I came to you. Will you forgive? Will you forgive me now? I've asked the sun, the stars up above, how'd I come to lose your love? Will you forgive? Will you forgive me now? Oh, I've learned my lesson. Do you believe? Out of the depths of my heart I make this plea. I was young and foolish too. On bended knees I came to you. Will you forgive? Will you forgive me now?
As by request, going out to Richard Fox. That is Paul Kirk. Paul Kirk with the Pageants, August 1959, on the Urania label, a song entitled Long Ago. When I started collecting group harmony records, I didn't know a lot of these records. That record, for example, so what I was doing is I was collecting the Kreider book. I was working, starting to make some money, and I was getting all these record lists, and I was getting Gold Mine magazine and Discover magazine, and I wasn't making a lot of money, but I would try to buy the records if they fit the price guide value. Of course, as I moved up the ladder and I started meeting other guys, not so good, and some very good guys, they started to if you're impulsive and you see a record that you want, they might want to charge you double, so you have to be careful. And I passed on so many records because I thought they were trying to gouge me. So I for the most part, a lot of my early record collecting, I had a lot of great records at cheap prices. I wouldn't call them cheap, but at least they were in the price guide range. Because I was wondering, I said, why are you guys offering me, it's in the book for $30 and you want $100? Are you kidding? I'm like, I don't like the record that much. So you got to be careful. And I don't want to go into, I can go into a whole teaching thing on how the record collecting hobby exploded with these large prices, because there is a reason. There is a reason for that, or how it happened. But anyway, that's for another time. But I'm glad that I can share my collection with you, the Top Shelf Oldies and YouTube listeners. Let's continue here. We just heard Paul Kirk and the Pageants. Got another request this time for Naples, Florida listener, Nat Papagallo. He wanted to hear a group from Florida also, this group out of Jacksonville, Florida, as we go back to Thomas Robinson's Angletone record label, and he requested the intended B-side of the 45. It features Lorenzo Thomas on lead from September 59. They're called the Fabulous Fabuleers. It's on Angletone Records. It's called She Is the Girl for Me. Ooh. By request, going out to Nat Papagallo. Going to send that one out to George Tompkins. I think he likes that song too. September 1959, the Fabulous Fabuleers. It's on the Angletone record label. They're out of Jacksonville, Florida. The song is called She Is the Girl for Me. Now, for you collectors out there, this 45 came out twice. Check your copy if you have it. If you have the gray-blue copy like the one I just showed you, you have the September 59 release. But if you have a more of a greenish color label, you have the June 1960 release. Of course, that's because of the flip side of the record, which was an answer to I think a Drifters song. Anyway, as we continue here for a Saturday evening, let's continue here with another request for Jim listening in North Carolina. Now, this record never really made it out of Columbus, Ohio. I'll have to ask Richard Fox. Well, I don't think he's in Ohio anymore, but he's close to Ohio, so he may know a little bit about this record. And this record was number 15 on WCOL in Columbus, Ohio. Now, the group is called the Marquis, and Jim requested this Marquis. It's along with the Gene Joseph Trio. Not an easy record to find. Let's send it out to Jim here, February 59, the Marquis on Daycel. It's a styrene press, Brian. It's called Ecstasy.
Ecstasy. see. That's what your love has been to me. Surely it wasn't meant to be. Just a memory. You were mine, and with you life so divine. Can you see you were meant to be my one ecstasy? Someday when we're older, we may be all alone. So please, darling, please think it over and say that our love is real. Ecstasy. That's what your love has been to me. Surely it wasn't meant to be. Just a memory. Just a memory.
I wanted that to go into the dead wax so Brian can hear the nice sound of that styrene record. That is a great record, I have to say. So how much is this record worth now? Wow, Diane says it's worth $1,200. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that's by request for Jim Barrow there, listening in North Carolina, February 59. They're called the Marquis on the Daycell record label. Ecstasy is the name of the tune. Now, I will tell you, when I've been a member of eBay since 1998, so I got two great records on eBay for, at the time, I put a lot of money in when I bid. It was the Cleftones with two T's, or two F's. With two F's, the Cleftones on Old Town, from somebody up in the Albany area. I got that for a pretty low price, and this was my other great find on eBay. And the reason why was, I bought this, I think, in 2001 on eBay. They didn't list it as the Marquis. They listed it under the Gene Joseph Trio. So one night late, I'm looking at these records, and at the time, I don't even think they had pictures back in 2001. I'm not sure they did. But it listed it as the Gene Joseph Trio, and I'm going, what could this be on the day? I know there's a rare record on Daycell. So I looked in the book, and I said, holy crap, it's a rare record. The guy's from Columbus, Ohio, and it's the song. So, of course, I put a high bid in. He said the record was nice. Again, that was a big if, because you don't know what you get on the other side on the eBay unless it's a reputable dealer. I know some great dealers on eBay that do undergrade versus overgrade. I was talking to Dave the Rave today. He just dealt with somebody, I forget, was it in Texas, I guess? I don't know, but he overgraded it, or he has overgraded it. You don't want to deal with those people at all. You want to have a person that you want to deal with that is always giving you great deals and likes your business, because the whole thing is repeat business for these dealers. And I won this record for like a song and a prayer, basically, but I did bid a lot because I thought it was going to go for a lot. But anyway, Diane tells me it's sells for that amount of money. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. This next 45 is out of Philadelphia, PA. Another not that easy to find this record either. The group is called the Royal Demons. I actually needed an up-tempo record at this point, but two of their members sang with a group called the Belltones that recorded for the Grand label. Now, I know a lot of you collectors out there know who the Belltones on Grand are. They have like a Holy Grail record, a song called Estelle, which, by the way, Johnny G does own. I own like a VG minus copy on Grand and a nice mint 78 or a decent 78 of that Estelle record. But anyway, two members of that group were members of this group. They were Donald Burnett and Harry Pashal. I think that's how you say it. But this group is called the Royal Demons. The Royal Demons, it's on a label called Rhythm Records out of Philadelphia, PA. It's from May of 59. The name of the tune is called What's the Matter, Baby?
What's the matter with you, baby? What's the matter now? What's the matter, baby? What's the matter now? I gotta make you love me some way, somehow. What's the matter with you, baby? Don't the kisses satisfy? Ooh, if they don't, baby, good to know how I try. Oh, what's the matter, baby? What's the matter now? Well, the first time I met you, I knew that it didn't met mine. I knew I had it. Every time you kiss me, my lips start quivering, and every time you hug me, my whole body shivers. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter with you, baby? Don't be so mean. Make my hair stand up and my toes turn green. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter now?
Oh, they're called the Royal Demons. Warren, you may have this record if you have the Madison Brothers. If you have the Madison Brothers on Apt or Cedar Grove. But anyway, those are the Royal Demons. The Royal Demons from May 1959. What's the Matter, Baby came out on the Rhythm record label. I actually bought this record. That does rock, by the way. But I bought it for the flip side of this. It was called Baby Don't. But it's not an easy record to find. Now, this song would be re-released again with a different flip on the Cedar Grove and Apt labels as the Madison Brothers. And there's also one more that this group does on the Peck label, I think, which I do have. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. And here's another request for Evan Blatt. This is another rare record, by the way. This group out of Jersey City, New Jersey. They had 3 releases on the J-Mar label. Now, Evan requested their second, which is their hardest to find, written by the lead singer. His name is Skip Brown, a.k.a. Skip Jackson. Now, this was arranged by band leader Billy Muir, who used to be a Facebook friend of mine. I used to communicate with Billy Muir, and he used to tell me on records that he used to play guitar on. And he was guitarist on Bobby Freeman's Do You Want to Dance, and Betty Lou's Got a New Pair of Shoes. That's him playing that guitar. And sometimes he would be mentioned on the label, other times he did not. But anyway, he is the band leader here. This is from January 1959, another rare record that maybe Evan found. Did you find this one in the trash? You may have found the bootleg of this, possibly, but it's a great tune. Evan, the Chantons on the Jamar label. It's called To Be in Love with You.
To be or not to be in love with you, but through
as Johnny G gets caught here. Warren, I had a request for you coming up next, but I guess we'll leave it for 2 weeks there, as I got to put another record on the turntable there. But that's a great record. I like both sides of that. Great request. Excuse me, folks. I'm away from the away from the mic. But those are the Chantons. Chantons, January 1959 on the Jamar label. That's going out to Evan Blatt. To Be in Love with You is the name of that one. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, on last week's show, the doo-wop couple listening in Michigan, Ron and Dorothy Feba, asked if I could feature sides by a group called the Castros, that group out of Philadelphia. Now, I featured the A-side to their first of two on the Lasso label. It was called Lucky Me. Let's give a spin to the B-side of that record. We're going to send this one out to Ron and Dorothy. And it doesn't really sound like a 1960 record. This one sounds more like a 1957 sound, or maybe earlier than that, but that's what I say. But it's going out to Ron and Dorothy. We move into 1960 for the Castros on Lasso. It's called Darling, I Fell for You.
Darling, I fell for you. You know you helped me too. You charmed me, dear. Darling, I fell for you. Darling, I fell for you. I hope that you'll be true. Your lips touched mine, darling, I fell for you. Dear, you'll no longer be lonely. I'll by your side. Ooh, you know, dear, I love you only. My love I cannot hide. Ooh, darling, I fell for you. I'm helpless, what can I do? I'll be so true, darling, I fell for you. Till you no longer be lonely, ooh, I'll always be by your side, ooh. You know, dear, I love you only. My love I cannot hide. Ooh, darling, I fell for you. I'm helpless, what can I do? I'll be so true, darling, I fell. Darling, I fell. Darling, I fell for you.
That was a record released in 1960, although that is definitely not a 1960s sound, but those are the Castros going out to Ron and Dorothy on the Lasso label. Darling, I Fell for You. That's the B-side of the 45. Let's continue here. We move into 1961 with a sound from California. It's on a label called Vistone Records. Now, no info on this record, but it's not an easy record to find. I remember I bought this one a long, long time ago. When was the last time they had a show in Edison, New Jersey, way in the back where the people used to drive their cars in? They had like they would have a bunch of shows going on. I remember they would have a record show on one side and they would have something else, a paper show or something else going on the other side. It was like in an industrial park. Was it Edison? I think, I don't know. Fred, you would know, because I know I met you a couple times. I think I met you at the Springfield show, not at that Edison show. But I bought this at the Edison show from Jerry Seacrest. Is he still selling? I don't know if he's still selling or not, but it was a long time ago. Anyway, this group is called the Billboards. And I hope I don't have a problem with this, because right at the end, I can't get the skip out way at the very end, and it is annoying, which is why I haven't played this record for a long, long time. But anyway, it's a great tune. Let's give it a try from 61 on Vistone Records out of California. These are the Billboards with a song called With All My Heart.
With all my heart, I love my girl, and I need my girl with all of
Wow, it did not skip, but did you hear that little tick there? Used to skip at that tick. I guess I got it out. I don't know. Anyway, those are the billboards from 1961 on the Vistone record label. With All My Heart is the name of that one. Yes, so I did. It was the, I remember records there in Edison. No, we met at the, Springfield show. That's where I met Fred. I was correct. Anyway, as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, back to the request again for Jim Barrow. I love this next song. It's a killer ballad, and I think Evan requested this a while back, not too long ago, but the group members were Larry Stokes, Herbie Brown, Raymond Crawford, and George Williams and Walter Crump. Collectively, they were known as the Originals. This is their first of two they recorded on the Diamond label out of New York City. So this is going out to Jim. This is the B-side of the record, by the way, and it's the better side in my opinion. October 61, give a listen to the Originals, going out to Jim on Diamond Records. It's called At Times Like This.
Times like this, when the violins are playing, all the tender things you're saying becomes a rhapsody of times like this, when the moon of love is shining, I can see a silver lining in the dark clouds above. With your first tender kiss, there's a feeling of bliss that you start. And as we kissed again, I could feel from within every beat of your heart. At times like this, when you whisper that you love me, all the stars that shine above me becomes a galaxy of love.
I have to agree with Andrew Turner. That definitely is a killer record. The Originals. The Originals from October 1961. It's on the Diamond label out of New York City. And that's the B-side, At Times Like This, the first of two on the Diamond label. That's a third overall release on Diamond. Diamond 102. Who collects Diamond records? Stereo Tom, I think, collects Diamond records. Anyway, Johnny G here. We are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, 11 minutes in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And I don't know if anybody's got to go to work tomorrow. I don't, but YouTube likes me to stay on no longer than 3 hours. So we'll see if we can do that. So let's continue here. Back out to California we go. Pomona, California, to be exact, for this group called the Velveteens. Now, they have releases on the Emmy label from 1960 and one on the Kerwood label in 61. Now, here is another one from 1961 where they're backing up someone by the name of Spider Ray. Now, Spider Ray is really Spider Way Quinones, and it's on the Boss label out of Los Angeles, California. And it's a Boss sound, and I don't know where Matey Campboy is, but I'm going to send this one out to Matey Campboy if she can listen or listens to Johnny G out there somewhere. It's from February 61. Give a listen to Spider Ray and the Velveteens on the Boss label. It's called Maria.
There's a girl in school, a girl I love. Maria is her name. Maria is my love. Oh, Maria, I love you so. I can't let you go. Please stay with me. Stay with me. Oh, Maria, I love you so. I can't let you go. Please stay with me. Stay with me. Whoa. Stay with me.
Out of Los Angeles, California, on the Boss label. This is a Boss record label out of L.A., not to be confused with the Boss record label. There's one in Chicago. There's one in Philadelphia. This is out of Los Angeles. February 61, Spider Ray and the Velveteens, a tune called Maria. We send it out to Matey Campboy. Say hi to Matey. It's been a while, Matey. Hope you are doing well as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And here's another request for young Evan. And this group is out of Baltimore, Maryland. Now, their lead singer was a member of the Twilighters that recorded on the Marshall label. They have a rare record. You got to be careful of originals on that label, too. I do have one. I forget. Oh, I got it from the Southern Northern Soul Collector, a dealer. I forget his name. Dave the Rave knows who it is, but he sold me that Marshall's on the Twilighters. But this singer, he went into the service and was released in 1961, and he formed a group called the Cool Gents, with a C, not with a K, with a C. And he had this release on the New York City-based CJ record label. This is going out to Evan from August of 61. Give a listen to Delroy Green and the Cool Gents on the CJ label. It's called Beggar to a Queen.
Some people do things in this world and I know they're sorry for. As for me, I was a king, now I'm a beggar to a queen. I asked you for love, oh, I'm just a plain old Joe. It's
I've asked you for. Though I'm just a plain old Joe, it comes from the lips of a beggar to a queen. I was a beggar.
That's a great request, Evan. Where did you hear that record? That's a good one. D-Roy. Wait, did I say that right? Yeah. D-Roy Green and the Cool Gents there, August 1961. It sounds earlier to me, but that's what Ferdy's got. CJ Records out of New York City. Beggar to a Queen is the name of that one. And this was later released on the Susie label as D-Roy Green. It doesn't mention the group, but it did come out a year later on the Susie label, but that is the first price. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue here for this next artist from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, many of the Top Shelf Oldies listeners enjoy this next artist. His real name was Johnny Greco, but he recorded as Johnny Jack. I think all his releases are on different labels. I don't think he has two on the same label, but he has a number of the releases, and I like them. Pretty much I like them all. But this is one on Lou Bedell's Doré label as we head back out to California, and it's a song he wrote from October 1961. Give a listen to Johnny Jack on Doré. It's called The Wonderful World of Love.
Show you through this wonderful, wonderful world of love. Wonderful world of love. Come here, don't you fear. Just take my hand and let me show you through this wonderful land of love. I'll be so gentle when I kiss you. Hold you close to me. I'll make you happy, dear, I promise. I love you, can't you see? So come here, little girl. Just take my hand and let me show you through this wonderful world of love. Show you through this wonderful world of love. Just take my hand and let me show you through this wonderful land of love.
That's Johnny Jack. Johnny Jack there on the Doré record label from October 1961, a song entitled The Wonderful World of Love. That's a cool tune. I like the flip side better. I think I'm going to flip it over here. We're going to play the flip side here. And he's got a couple records that are really pretty cool. He has one on the Great label. I think he does a nice version of, does he do Need You? I wonder. He does A Beggar That Became a Queen, Touch Me. But the flip side's pretty interesting. It's a song originally done by Carla Thomas, and it's called A Love of My Own, but because she wrote the tune, she sang it first, but he does a nice rendition of it, so let's give it a spin. I was going to play it in 2 weeks, but I want to play it now. I do want to play it now, so let's flip the 45 over, give a listen to the B-side from October 61, Johnny Jack on the Dore label with A Love of My Own.
I look at the mountains, I look at the trees, I look at the ocean, I feel the soft breeze, then I want to know why can't I find the love of my I look at the moonlight, I look at the sun, I look at everything Mother Nature has done, then I want to know why can't I find the love of my
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Too bad a group wasn't on that side. That's the B-side to Johnny Jack, The Wonderful World of Love, A Love of My Own from October 1961. We continue here. Here's a request for Nat Papagallo. Nice girl group sound on George Goldner's N label. And for you collectors out there, this one comes out two ways, two flip sides on this. One is a Christmas song called I Want a Boy for Christmas. The other is called Will You Love Me in Heaven. All great sides by this girl group called the Delvettes. And let's give it a spin here, going out to Nat from December 61. The Delvettes on End. It's called Repeat After Me.
I can hardly wait until that lucky day when I hear the preacher say, oh, repeat after me. After me, repeat after me.
As by request for Nat listening down in Naples, Florida. They're called the Delvets. The Delvets, December 1961 release on the N record label. Repeat After Me. If you're collectors out there, this came out on 2 consecutive end releases. The Christmas flip is end 1016, and the side that I played was 1017. And that is 2 N records in a row by the same group but different flips. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And speaking of Nat, last week I featured a group called the Emblems for him on the Bayfront record label. He requested the B-side of their first of 2 on the Bayfront label. It was called Would You Still Be Mine? But I remember hearing the A-side of this the first time on the Gus Gossard show sometime in the early 1970s. So let's give it a spin here. As we move into 1962, it features Tommy Stauch on lead. These are the Emblems on the Bayfront label. It's called Poor Humpty Dumpty.
Here's how it happened once upon a time to time.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a candle. All the Humphys and all the Kentons, they said, put 'em back together again.
Put it back together yourself, you dummy. Oh.
Take a little cat on every rama, it was white as snow. And every time, every lamb around, she said, why don't you turn around and go back home?
I'm lost. I don't know where to.
Cat in the river, just ran away from the spoon. Yes, he did. The little boy laughed to see such a sight when the fish ran away with the spoon. Little Miss Muffet got the shine on her muffin. Little bird got the shine. But along came a spider and sat down beside her tonight.
What you got in the pot? Who's been sleeping in my bed?
Who's been sleeping in my bed too? Who's been sleeping in my bed tonight?
Who that? When I'm saying who that? That.
There they go, happy ever after. There they go, happy ever after. There they go, happy ever after. There they go, happy ever after.
That's a side that Gus Gossard used to hear when he was on WPIX. I never really heard Gus on WCBS FM, but I did hear him on WPIX. But those are the Emblems from January 62 on the Bayfront label, a song entitled Poor Humpty Dumpty. Tommy Stauch on lead. Now, Tommy would go on to record as Tommy Van and the Echoes. You may have his release on the Academy record label as we continue here. And I was able to get this one in for Richard Fox. He sent me his request late. I was putting together the show, but I didn't have it programmed yet. And I was able to slip this one in for Rich, and I was looking at this record to play in the box. I forget what D record I was looking at, but so I knew it was filed in the box. But this group is from Memphis, Tennessee. They were called the Del Rios. Now they're the same Del Rios, believe it or not, that recorded for the Meteor label back in 1956. But I think they had a couple members that changed. But we move all the way up to 1962 from their first release of 56. And this one features Lewis Williams on lead. We go back to June of 1962. This is going out to Richard Fox. These are the Del Rios on Stax with a song entitled Just Across the Street.
I've seen and I've watched from my window, just wondering about a true love I'd someday meet. but I'd never thought the one I love lived just across the street. I saw you one evening as you came home. Your smile and your hello was oh so sweet. Then I knew I'd found the one I loved living just across the street. Something were made for each other, like the leaves were made for the tree, and the bird for the wild blue yonder. And I knew you were made for me. And now you are mine, and I'm so happy. I feel I've got the world at my feet, and I thank the stars for sending me a love just across the street. Yes, I have found my love just across the street.
As going out to Richard Fox. Great two-sided 45, by the way. I agree, Rich. The Del Rios there, June 1962, on the Stax label. Did I say that? The Stax label out of Memphis, Tennessee. Just across the street is the name of that one. Now, many people thought that William Bell is doing lead on that. He is not. Lewis Williams is doing lead. Maybe William Bell is on the flip. I have to check. That might be the case. But William Bell wrote this song. Of course, William Bell would go on to have a great solo career on Stax Records with some great soulful sides on the Stax label. You can hear him on my 60's show. Johnny G here for Saturday evening. We are in Vinyltreasure Overtime, and here is, I played a request for the Bopper Boy last week by the Splendors, who were out of California on the Jano label from December of 62. It was called Puddin'Tain, but it was Daryl that asked Johnny G if I could flip the 45. We're going to do this one. We're going to flip it over and send it out to Daryl from December 62. Give a listen to the Splendors on the Jano label. I think this is the A side, maybe, but we'll send it out to Daryl. These are the Splendors with the tune called Island Called Romance.
If there's a doubt in your mind of leaving home sometime, just pack your clothes and go with me. We'll sail across the deepest sea. Oh, there's an island called romance. Yes, in the deepest of the sea. And no more will you be alone, but you will be far from home. No more washing dirty dishes, or with that red cat around your head. You sleep late every morning and stay late in the bed. I'll build a cabin in the sky to prove my love will never die. And every morning when you wake up, you can say it's mine and then look up. If there's a doubt in your mind, yes, there's an island called romance. Yes, there's an island called romance.
As Johnny G gets caught. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to show you this next record after. I apologize, folks, but that's going out to Daryl Letts in our YouTube chat room, December 62, The Splendors. I have a mint copy of that somewhere. Jano Records, Island Call Romance, as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We are in 1962, and I think this is out of California. I guess. I don't know. Charlene mentioned California on this. This next artist out of Los Angeles, California, his name is Eddie Williams. This is a request for Nat. How do you know this record, Nat? It's from August 62. His name is Eddie Williams. It's on the Alcor label. I have another, her name is Priscilla something on this label I have on Alcor. But this one is by request for Nat, Eddie Williams, and a group. He co-wrote the song from August 62. It's called Have a Heart.
Shut up, have a heart. Don't let me go. Shut up, have a heart. I love you so. Take me, darling. I'm yours to share. Oh, I'll treat you gently.
There's a killer ballad there from the West Coast there. Eddie Williams going out to Nat Papagallo, August 1962 on the Alcor label, Have a Heart. Let's send that one out to the Colonel because I know he likes that tune also. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. I'm going to do maybe a couple more, maybe 2 or 3. I'll see, because getting close to that 1 a.m. hour. But up next, or actually last week, I played a request for Brian Korn, listening in the state of Wisconsin, that he requested Billy Gallant. Billy Gallant was a member of the Roulettes. The Roulettes, they recorded on the Champ label and also on the Scepter label. Haston Jason, I think, is one of the rare records they have. Mine is a warp, by the way. But anyway, the side that Brian requested was Scribbling on the Wall. The flip side's a nice ballad. We're going to give it a spin here before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. I wanted to do a little bit more research on who the group was on this, so I don't know who, but both sides I like. From August 62, Billy Gallant on the DD label. It's called Thinking, Hoping, Wishing.
Thinking, hoping, wishing.
I was walking through the park, looking at the stars, thinking where you were and who was in your arms. I was thinking about the things we've done before. A fella and this girl sitting side by side, looking at each other with
and stardust in their eyes. I was wishing that fella could be me. We used to walk together. Our love was burning so bright. We thought it would last forever. But where are you tonight? Now I'm walking through the park, looking at the skies, thinking where you were and who is in your heart. Now I'm hoping things could be like they were before. Thinking, hoping,
I like both sides of that 45 anyway. Though that's Billy Gallant. Billy Gallant there, August 1960, through an uncredited group backing him up. Thinking, hoping, wishing on the DD record label. That's what we are. We're thinking, hoping, and wishing that this virus will go away so we can get back to our normal lives, as we got a couple more weeks to go, I'd say, before we get rid of this, hopefully. And got 2 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Back to Los Angeles, California for this group that formed at Fairfax High School, recorded on labels like Lord Bingo and Vision. But here is their debut 45, which came out on the Shepherd label out of Los Angeles, California. It features Joel Warren on lead. This one from June of 1962. Give a listen to the Bo Jives. The Bo Jives here on the Shepherd label, a song entitled I'll Never Be the Same.
Once someone said love was just for a day. That's what I thought till you came my way. All our friends knew our love was true. Well, now I know I'll never be the same. Oh no, no. Now I know I'll never be the same. And then one day you stepped out of my dreams. Still had my friends, but I'm lonely it seems. 'Cause all the tears through all the years, well, you know they show me that I'll never, be the same. Oh no, no, show me that I'll never be the same. Ooh, if I could have one wish forever, whoa, yeah, I'd wish that you would leave me never. Oh yeah, never, 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 never. I know they say love is just for a day. Now I know why I don't feel that way. 'Cause all the tears through all the years, you know they show me that I'll never be the same. Oh no, no, no. Show me that I'll never, be the same. Well, come on, pretty baby, no, they show me that I'll never be the same.
I like that tune there by a group called the Bo Jives. The Bo Jives from June 1962. 62, that is their debut single, came out on the Shepherd record label. I'll Never Be the Same. Joel Warren on lead for that one. In 1964, they would perform on an episode of Make Room for Daddy, so you got to look for that episode somewhere. And again, with this virus going around, maybe we'll never be the same, really. Going to learn from this anyway. But that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. Hope you enjoyed listening to my cool tunes to get away from the maddening crowd out there, to relax for now almost 3 hours now here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you so much, those of you sticking around here. I enjoy playing my 45s every Saturday from 10 to midnight, 10 to 1 a.m. now here for you. You want to subscribe to my show because I may be playing, for the next couple weeks, I could be doing shows at night, randomly at night to compete against. No, I won't compete against. We'll do it maybe early 5 o'clock or something when I get off from work. I can play records for you guys. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Again, thank you for sticking around. We're going to close the show tonight. With a group out of Philadelphia. Let's see, it's a great tune. And actually, it is a request. Nat requested another cool record here. This group for Nat, this group is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Andrew's from Reading, Pennsylvania. This is Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This one came out in the spring of 1964. Female lead with male backing. Her name is Joni Stewart. Joni Stewart is the lead singer on this. And this song was number 17 on WLAN, Swingin' 60 Survey. From where, Charlene? 1964. Was that in Lancaster? Maybe. But anyway, the closer tonight is the Trinells. The Trinells on the Chelton label, Come On and Tell Me. And that's what I want you to do. Come on and tell Johnny G how much you like the Vinyl Treasure Show. Send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Again, you can listen to the shows on my website, vinyltreasures.net, or come right here to Johnny G's Vinyl Treasures on YouTube. Again, you want to subscribe to my channel so you'll get notifications via email that I will be broadcasting. And again, I'll be playing all these records live as I do. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. Dave is a geek record collector like me. Got lots of cool 60s sounds and late 50s sounds too. And he's got a lot of 45s originally. He's got 2 turntables now. So he's playing a lot more records, he is. So tune in to Mr. Dave the Raven, my buddy, tomorrow night starting at 9 o'clock. And all the Top Shelf Oldies shows here during the week. So again, thank you, Charlene, again for all your help. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Everybody be safe out there. I want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday. It's my All 60s show. It's the last Saturday of the month. So if you like all this post-Beatles songs and soul records and whatnot out of my collection, tune in next Saturday. If not, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Are you really gonna
Oh, folks. Oh, my goodness. That is a great record. Isn't that a great record there? The Trinells, Come On and Tell Me. I have another copy of this. I have a nice mint copy. This is not a mint copy. I bought this I actually traded some teen records to somebody from Washingtonville. Oh, what is his name? He was a lawyer that I met him in Louis Silvani's Times Square Records when he was in Dobbs Ferry, and he walked in. He was I have his name, Steve something. Oh, I'll get his name. His name was Steve. He was from Washingtonville, New York, and he was a group harmony collector, but he was trying to thin out his collection. He was looking for teen records, actually soul records. But I ended up trading him some of my duplicates that I think might have been worth some money, but they were nice mint copies, and he said, whatever you want. And we did an even up trade, and I think I got a bunch of soul records from him, and he got some duplicates of mine. But anyway, thanks, folks, for sticking around here, and hope you enjoyed the show, and everybody be safe out there. Barbara's so paranoid. We're going to try to video chat with her tomorrow, but let's see what I'll do. I got to go looking for some 60s records, but subscribe to the show because you'll get a notification when I'm on. You'll get an email. If you get it on your phone, you'll see it. A lot of people watch the show on the phone. Other people might have it on their tablets or their PCs or whatever. But anyway, again, thanks again, folks, for sticking around. I am beat. I will see you next Saturday, maybe during the week. You never know. But again, be safe, and we will see each other again next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.